work together to fix it. But let's first talk about what kind of budget we're working with. So you don't need to tell me, you know, I always kind of say, you don't need to tell me exactly how much you have to spend. That's not really so important right now, but I'm just trying to get an idea of what we're working with so that I can give you some options if you're interested in hearing them. So can you give me a budget range? Range means an idea, like a general idea. So if someone gives you a budget range of 100, I have between $100 and $500 to spend in a month. That's a range, somewhere in between there. So yeah, so whatever, the person will tell you how much money they have, and you know, from there you can figure it out. You can say, okay, well, great, yeah, I mean, we definitely have options for $100 a month or so, about $100 a month. We also have like options that are a little more expensive. You could run more frequently in the magazine. So yeah, we can talk about those. And that's, you know, you can kind of, at this point I would probably like take out the magazine and I'd be like, yeah, for example, like this ad here, the full page ad, you know, you could, or not full page probably, but like, you know, this half page ad you could run for like $500, you know, $550 a month, whatever. And if you run it more frequently, you get a discount. You know, it goes down to $400 a month. So that's an option, for example. Okay, then you're going to talk about decisions. So this is really important, especially, you know, actually with small business owners or with big companies. So there's two different kinds of, in ad sales at least, there's two different kinds of sales to do, two different clients. One is the physical client. So when I worked with restaurants and bars, I would meet directly with the owner of these restaurants because, you know, New York, usually there'd be like smaller restaurants, you know, maybe there's 10 people working there, there's 15 tables, and, you know, you would talk, the restaurant owner would be the person that makes all the decisions. Or maybe there's a manager, they make the decisions. So that's one, you could work directly with the client. Or with a bigger company, like for example, American Apparel, I would not be speaking to the owner of American Apparel about advertising. The owner is way too busy to talk to anyone about advertising, so he has specific people that deal with advertising, right? They're called, you know, account managers or brand managers. So brand, we talked about brand the first couple of classes, remember? So a brand manager, someone who obviously manages a brand, who handles the brand. So if American Apparel is the brand, they do everything that has to do with his brand. Advertising, marketing, public relations, you know, everything that has to do with his brand, they take care of. Right, so you would try to get a meeting. If I wanted American Apparel to advertise in my magazine, call up, try to get a meeting with the brand manager, because they report to the owner eventually. So it's really important to figure out who makes the decisions, because a lot of times what would happen, you know, I would sit down and I would have a great meeting with the manager of a restaurant. Great meeting, we'd become friends, we'd hit it off. And then when we came to this point, and I'd be like, so who makes the decisions? I'd be like, oh, do you make the decisions about advertising? Can you spend the money? They'd be like, no, you know, it has to go through the owner, he decides everything. All right, so you think that's okay, right? Because I just had a great conversation with the manager, so the manager's gonna go and talk to the owner, but you know what happens there, right? Things get lost in translation. Have you guys ever seen that movie, Lost in Translation? No? With Scarlett Johansson? It's good. It takes place in Japan. Lost in Translation. But this is also a saying, which means what you say doesn't come across the same way to another person. So something is lost. You know, if you're talking me to you, Aiko, you understand what I'm saying. I'm speaking to you directly. But if Midori's in between us, and I whisper something in her ear, and I ask her to whisper it in your ear, it might come out a little different, right? It might sound a little different. So that's what it means. My message might be lost in translation if I do that. So that would be very frustrating. So when I first started working at the L, this happened a lot. I would meet with the managers, would have great rapport, would establish a great relationship with them, and then they would go to the owners, and what do you think happened there? What do you think they were like, oh, this was, I hate this person, I didn't like her. No, they were like, I had a great meeting, but what do you think happened in that lost in translation?
The person in charge couldn't say correct things at the when the person meet the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So the decision when you and the manager
Mm-hmm.
talk about something is it's different. It's a little bit different things.
Mm-hmm.
It means lost in the translation. It's
Mm-hmm.
And it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, right. So, the manager would probably say to the owner, like, oh, here's this magazine. I met with this sales rep for this magazine. They want us to advertise. It's like, I think like $500 a month. Do you want to do it? That's it. So my half-hour conversation with that person and creating a relationship, it goes down to like 2 seconds. And of course the owner's like, nah, I don't want to spend $500 a month. So anyway, my point in telling you this is that it's really important in business transactions to figure out who the decision maker is. So sometimes, usually I would meet with the owner. Once I got a little bit smarter about it, I would only meet with the owner so I wasn't wasting my time. And I would say, okay, so who makes the decisions here? So you're the owner. Do you make all the decisions, or do you have a partner who you talk to about this, or a manager? Like what? How are the decisions made? Basically, how are they made also? So yeah, they could say like, yeah, I have a partner. I usually talk about everything with them if it has to do with money. So let me talk to them, and I'll get back to you. Okay. Okay. Great. 6. So this is actually when you really talk about the magazine.
Before that, can I ask?
Sure.
You said physical client of the small restaurant, for the group restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you call the opposite client? It means big company like American Apparel.
Mm-hmm.
How do you call? What do you call?
That's a good question. I just want you to specify. I want to make sure that I understand the question. So you're saying for a small company like a restaurant, it's a client. It's called a client.
Physical client.
What kind?
Physical client.
Fiscal?
Physical. No, it's my mistake.
I don't think. Can you spell that for me?
I don't know that was.
Physical.
Physical.
Yeah,
Physical?
No, you don't say
I
that.
don't think so. This physical, right?
Yeah.
Physical. No. No, sorry. Okay, maybe I know where I might have said that. I probably said to you that I'm physically, maybe I said this, that I'm physically speaking with a client, which means, yeah, that's a good point.
I got it. Yeah.
You got it, right? So I'm actually sitting down and seeing the other person, as opposed to, where I'm talking to the brand manager and I don't see the owner. Yes, good question. So, yeah, so here you're going to talk about, here you're really going to talk about the magazine and whether or not it's a good fit. Everything they've told you so far, you're figuring out in your head if it's a good fit, if they have enough money to run with you, what kind of products you think you can offer them that would be best. So I told you guys that the magazine I worked for had different products. We didn't just have print advertising, we also had online advertising. We also had an application for phones, an app. where you could advertise. We also had events that you could like be a sponsor for them. So for some clients, it didn't make sense to put in an ad in our magazine, but it made sense for them to sponsor like a big event. We had this music festival every year in Williamsburg. So to sponsor something like that, they would get to be in our brochure, like our little brochure that we print with all the different names of the music festival. That would make more sense for them maybe, because then people would, maybe they're on the same street as the music festival. So if somebody's at a music festival and they're like looking at the guide, like, where am I going to go next? And they see like this bar. Oh, hey, cool. There's the bar. Maybe. And it's a 2-for-1 drink special. So we would come up with like catchy promotions to try to get people into their business. So yeah, you talk about whether or not it's a good fit, the target audience, does it fit, all that stuff. And you're using everything they've told you here to make the decision. So that's the sales process that we used. So maybe now we can go through your guys', no, you don't have it, but the homework was to pick a magazine and find out some basic information about it. So who is the target audience? Who is the magazine reaching? What people? And any information you have about them. How old they are, their household income, their age, their gender, their race even, are they married, are they single? Everything you can know about your target audience. And then we wanted to know how much it costs to place an ad, what the circulation was, how many people are we reaching, where is it distributed, how often is it distributed. So let's hear. Give me a little sales pitch. So we're not going to go through all these steps, but tell me what you learned. Sell your magazine to me. Sell it. When I say sell it to me, I don't physically mean sell it. I mean, when it's used in that context, it means to, like, convince me. Convince me, kind of. Sell me on it. If you've ever heard anyone say that. Okay, sorry, it's just a stupid thing. Okay.
I played.
Sorry.
I kind of play to the sell.
Yeah, you can kind of play the role. I'll be serious.
Hello. Hi. My name is Aiko.
Hi, Aiko. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I come from. I work for the Village Boys. I work for the Village Boys.
For the Village Boys.
Yeah. We issued it. Give me a second.
Sure, no problem. No problem.
Can I check it?
Yeah.
After you do it.
Oh, it'll take you a little while?
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Hi.
Hi, my name is Midori.
Hi, Midori. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Thanks
you
for
too.
coming in.
I'm an editor of magazine Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
This is our magazine's targets are female,
Mm-hmm.
and especially fashion and beauty fan.
Okay.
We think if you are our leader, you can be a fashion charisma of fashion and beauty.
What's that first word? Charisma?
Charisma,
Charisma.
leader, or
Leader?
charisma, C-A, maybe R-I-S-M-A.
Yes, charisma. This is with a H.
H?